Becoming uncomplicated. Intelligence without pretense. The weight of complexity. We inherit complexity as though it were proof of our intelligence. Opinions, plans, causes, identities, they stack layer upon layer until the nervous system becomes a curator of noise rather than a vessel of clarity. Slowly, life turns into strategy. Relationship becomes negotiation. And the body, designed to listen through breath and sensation, is asked instead to interpret the world through concepts and expectations. It grows tired beneath that burden. When complexity becomes habitual, we confuse stimulation for aliveness and performance for meaning. Yet something in us still longs for basic rhythm, the honest pace of a living organism that is not trying to justify itself. The weight of complexity is not just mental, it is physiological. It crowds the exhale. It interrupts digestion. It narrows the field of perception. Simplicity, then, is not regression. It is recovery, a return to coherence where intelligence begins again without pretense. The fear of being boring. The fear of being boring often arises when the performance begins to fade. We sense our pace slowing, our words thinning, our need to impress losing momentum, and the mind panics, believing it is disappearing. It assumes that relevance depends on stimulation, and that connection demands exhibition. But this fear is rarely about dullness. It is more about vulnerability. To be simple is to risk being seen without the armor of accomplishment. Yet the nervous system does not crave excitement. It longs for rhythm. The body does not trust fireworks. It trusts pacing, honesty, and warmth. When the fear of being boring is welcomed, something unexpected happens. Our attention settles. And in that settling, presence begins to speak in subtler tones. The fear is not a warning, it is a threshold. On the other side is not emptiness, but atmosphere, a place where authenticity can breathe, and where belonging is no longer dependent on performance. The body's pace as intelligence. There is a rhythm beneath thought, a quiet current that does not argue or defend. It belongs to the body and not the mind. When we learn to sense it, a different kind of intelligence appears, one that does not hurry, yet responds with precision. This is not instinct alone, nor is it pure logic, but a merging of perception and timing, breath aligning with circumstance, movement arising from attunement rather than will. The body does not seek validation, it seeks coherence. When its pace is honored, choices become clearer and emotions become more navigable. The mind may call this inefficiency, but life recognizes it as wisdom. A tree does not rush to grow. It stabilizes the world. In the same way, our pace can become a form of guidance. It's not a retreat from intellect, but a foundation for it. Intelligence that listens before it leads and moves only when presence has arrived. Imagine this. You begin chopping vegetables. The mind thinks about schedules, emails, and what should be done next. But then you decide to slow your pace, not to meditate, but simply to feel what your hands are doing. You notice the weight of the knife, the rhythm of cutting, the scent rising from the food. Breath deepens without being instructed. The body begins leading the moment instead of the mind. Timing adjusts. Muscles soften. You stop trying to finish and simply begin participating. From there, something subtle shifts. The meal is prepared with fewer mistakes. You forget less. You move with more efficiency, not less. And when you sit down to eat, digestion flows more easily because the nervous system never entered stress. The body's pace formed the intelligence of the activity, not the other way around. This is living intelligence, not theoretical, not mystical, simply the physiology of coherence guiding action. It does not eliminate thought. It gives thought a gentler environment to operate within. Here, the mind protects the moment, the body conducts it. What trees teach about integrity. A tree offers integrity without intention. It does not design its form, it becomes it. From root to leaf, every part is aligned with its purpose. It bends when the wind requires, and stillness when the wind is gone. This is integrity not as morality or principle, but as attunement to reality. A tree does not rush to grow nor strive to impress, yet by simply honoring its nature, it nourishes everything around it: soil, air, animal, and light. It embodies consistency without rigidity, steady but never stubborn. In this, trees reveal a deeper meaning of integrity, not adherence to ideals, but fidelity to natural law. They do not force resilience, they grow it. They do not claim wisdom, they demonstrate it. And perhaps our own integrity need not be constructed, only remembered as we relearn how to stand, how to bend, how to remain rooted in what is true and what is natural. Beginning again without a map. There comes a moment when old strategies fall silent, not in defeat but in completion. The desire for plans, labels, and clear direction begins to loosen, and an unfamiliar openness appears. This is not disorientation. It is the beginning of orientation. To live without a map is to trust the terrain as it unfolds, discovering guidance in pace, texture, sunlight, hunger, fatigue. The mind may call this uncertainty, but the body recognizes it as possibility. To begin again without a map is to let presence become navigation, allowing the next step to arise from what is actually in contact with us now. It requires humility, yes, but also courage. The courage to let meaning emerge rather than be manufactured. Here, intelligence becomes relational, a dialogue with the moment instead of a monologue of control. Coherence as the quiet offering. In the end, what remains is not theory or accomplishment, but coherence. The simple resonance of a nervous system that is not at war with itself. Coherence does not persuade, it invites. It does not demand attention, it gently settles the air. This is where pragmatic presence becomes tangible, not as concept but as atmosphere. A coherent person does not seek to change others, yet their presence often allows change to begin. Their steadiness offers something rare, unguarded space. A room feels different around them. It's not because of what they say, but because the body senses it does not need to defend. Coherence is not perfection. It is the absence of pretense. It is a gift offered not by effort, but by fidelity to simplicity. And in that quiet offering, relationship becomes possible. Belonging becomes breathable. And life at last begins to feel livable again.